chaos meets grace. And 4, embracing God's love in the chaos. So my point number 1, the season of transition. If you turn over to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 to 4, it reads, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance." Sisters, let's talk honestly about what many of us are experiencing, but rarely discuss openly in church. Menopause. This natural transition, typically occurring between ages of 45 and 55, marks the end of our reproductive years, as our ovaries reduce production of estrogen and progesterone. But here's what the medical definition doesn't capture. Menopause is not failure of our bodies. It's a sacred transition designed by our Creator. I'm going to just pause from what I wrote, but one of the inspirations for me wanting to share about menopause along with caregiving is, when you're on social media, there are the algorithms, and it'll feed you all the things that you've been looking at. So what's been coming on my feed is women talking about menopause. And so I've come across this one lady, and she has created a following. She was even on the Drew Barrymore show. But one of the things, even though she's sharing her experience and she has a lot of followings, I felt like it was more of a following because of the negative aspects of menopause. And for me, it's funny to joke about it, but where's the hope? Where's God's perspective? So that's what inspired what I wrote today. If we look at Sarah in Genesis 18:12 to 15, Sarah laughed when she was told that she was going to be able to conceive in her old age, right? Acknowledging the natural end of childbearing years. God understands the seasons of womanhood. Her laughter wasn't mocking. It was maybe the response of a woman who recognized that God's timing doesn't always align with our biological clocks. And His purpose extends far beyond our reproductive years. The symptoms we experience, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the mood changes, the sleep disturbances, aren't punishments. They're part of our natural refining process. Much like silver refined in fire. In Psalm 66:10, it reads, "For you, O God, tested us, you refined us like silver." God uses even our physical discomfort to shape us, to slow us down when needed, and to remind us of our dependence on Him. By January 2025, I was juggling full-time work, caring for my mother with congestive heart failure and Parkinson's, and feeling like my own body was betraying me. Premenopause was creeping in, and it was adding another layer of complexity to my already overwhelming situation. Some nights I wake up drenched in sweat, wondering if it was the stress of caregiving or my changing hormones. Then my mom would need me, and I had to push through the fog of exhaustion and hormonal chaos to be present for her. But God met me in that chaos. He showed me that this season wasn't about managing everything perfectly. It was about learning to receive His grace in new ways. Point number 2, the unexpected calling when we become caregivers. So if you turn over to Ruth chapter 1, 16 through 17, it reads, "But Ruth replied, 'Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely. If anything but death separates you and me. Many of us entered midlife expecting this to be our season of freedom. Children launched, careers established, time finally your own. Instead, some of us find ourselves in Ruth's position, making a covenant commitment to care for someone whose needs are increasing, while our own energy feels depleted. As an occupational therapy practitioner, I recognized the early signs of Parkinson's in my mother years before her diagnosis. But recognizing a need and accepting the call to meet it are two different things entirely. The sleepless nights came in waves. Emergency room visits seemed endless. Each time I would text my siblings and my cousin, hoping someone might join me in this frightening journey. Most nights it was just mom and me trying to appear confident while my heart pounded with fear. Here's what I learned. God does not call the equipped. He equips the called. When mom needed an IV dobutamine therapy at home, I became the nurse despite my fears. When she faced a 50-50 chance of surviving a heart procedure, I had to make the life and death decision that felt too big for anyone to bear. God places angels along our path, often in most unexpected forms. Dr. B, mom's podiatrist, didn't just tend to her feet. She reviewed lab results and recognized signs of heart failure that other doctors had missed. Her willingness to go beyond her job description literally saved my mother's life. In your caregiving chaos, look for your Dr. B moments, when God provides exactly the right person at exactly the right time. But also ask yourself, when have you been someone's Dr. B? Standing in the hospital corridor, facing the decisions to continue or stop my mom's procedure, I felt the crushing weight of playing God with someone's life. That moment of paralyzing fear, I did the only thing I could do. I prayed. God, this is what I prayed. God, let your will be done. Whatever decision I make, let me be able to live it. To live with it, knowing that your hands, to live with it, knowing it was your hands. So I wanted to be able to, once I made the decision, to know that I made the best decision and that it was in God's hands. My mom was having a procedure that if she didn't have it, she would have to wait months, maybe even years for another time slot, because that's how backed up they were. But we went forward and she's still here. Thank God. So I say to you as caregivers, you're not alone in these impossible moments. God sees every tear, every sleepless night, every difficult decision. He doesn't ask you to be perfect. He asks you to be present and to trust him with outcomes beyond your control. Point number 3, the beautiful mess, the chaos meets grace. Turn over to 2 Corinthians 4:16-18. And it reads, therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. By January 2025, my life looked like a beautiful disaster from the outside. Transitioning to part-time work due to caregiving demands and premenopause symptoms. Managing mom's complex medical needs and feeling my own body changing in ways that I couldn't control. But God showed me something profound in that chaos. Preparation is love in action. Just as Jesus said, in my Father's house, there are many rooms. If that were not so, would I have not told you that? I am going there to prepare a place for you. That's in John 14:2. Every act of caregiving, every sterile procedure with Chuck, the IV bag that my mom had to bring home and have attached to her, every 3 a.m. hospital visit, every moment of advocating for better care was preparing a place of love and safety for my mom. Despite my unfulfilled longing for children of my own, God revealed through caregiving that He hadn't forgotten me. My professional training as an occupational therapist prepared me technically, but this journey prepared my heart for deeper compassion with my patients and their families. God wastes nothing. Every trial becomes training for greater service. Today, mom sleeps more and more, and her tremors are more frequent, but she still insists on doing her laundry. We recently took a trip to New Jersey where she met her newest granddaughter. Her face lit up with joy that reminded me why every sleepless night, every difficult decision, every moment of fear was worth it. Like silver, refined in fire, both menopause and caregiving are refining processes that reveal what's truly valuable. The hot flashes that wake us up at night teach us to pray in the darkness. The brain fog that makes us feel scattered reminds us to demand on God's wisdom instead of on our own. The physical exhaustion, it forces us to rest in His strength. This season isn't punishment, it's purification, ladies. Point number 4, embracing God's love in chaos. If we look at Psalm 139, 13-16, it reads, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." I smile when I read that because I remember when I studied the Bible and the sister said, "Can I put your name in it?" And I remember her reading it with my name, and I just thought of that. Ladies, hear this truth deep in your bones. God loves you. For God's love for you is not diminished by your hot flashes, your exhaustion, your moments of resentment, your fears about making the wrong decisions. He created your body to transition through seasons. He sees your sacrificial service. He values your willingness to show up when others don't. God sees your sacrifice. He knows your fears. He will give you strength for each new day and wisdom for each difficult decision. Trust Him. Trust Him with the outcomes. And remember, compassionate service is not about perfection. It's about presence, persistence, and allowing God's love to flow through your willing hands and heart. As I share with you, looking on social media, you see the world's perspective on menopause and the symptoms. But I ask you to reframe your perspective. Instead of seeing this season as something to endure, what if we embraced it as a sacred transition into deeper wisdom and spiritual authority? What if we saw it as a refining process that burns away what's unnecessary and reveals what's eternal? What if we looked at it as a season of fruitfulness that looks different than the childbearing, but is equally valuable? What if we saw it as an opportunity for intimate partnership with God in caring for his beloved children? Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. That's in 1 Peter 5:7. Every gentle touch, every advocating call, every sleepless night is an act of worship. Love made visible in the most vulnerable moments of life. You are walking a sacred path, sister. This beautiful mess you're living